upon meditation.
The title of this transmission is How the Oversoul Works. We are going to explain a little bit about the different levels of Oversoul that can exist. Sometimes this has come up as a question of reincarnation, where a question has been asked about the idea of whether or not people reincarnate, but also whether or not, as has been said in some of your stories and some of your legends, people can reincarnate as different things, such as animals or insects or plants or what have you. Now, as we have said, time in a sense is an illusion, and therefore no one really reincarnates in the classic linear sense, although you can create an experience or an appearance of reincarnation. But this is primarily viewed from your linear perspective, so it just looks like it works out that way, where one life happens after another, after another, after another. But that's not actually mechanically, as we have explained, what's happening, because everything exists at once. Everyone, everything, everywhere, every when, all exists at the same time.
In a book I read about past life regression, it explained that if a personality or spirit, not the oversoul or soul, needed to have a certain experience in life mastered, the spirit must come back to physical reality with no choice in the matter. Is this true? And does the oversoul choose all our experiences, or are there ones that we must complete?
Again, it's not that the oversoul chooses the experience in the classical sense that you mean that. There is relevance to certain things happening within a certain definition of an oversoul. And that means that the souls in that oversoul are relevant to that oversoul, and that the higher minds relevant to those souls also have certain things that are relevant to the definition of those souls and oversouls. And the personalities will have certain themes that are relevant to that particular oversoul's theme. So it's not that the oversoul chooses it, it's just an extension of what the oversoul is that extends into what the soul is and what the higher mind is for that particular personality, and what that personality is because of what the oversoul is as its ultimate definition, as its primal core definition. So the idea is that if you have decided on some level to experience certain themes, certain experiences, then you may, if you don't experience it in one sense, in one incarnation, you may create the experience of a continuing incarnation to finish out something that you agreed to explore, that you chose to explore from perhaps a spirit level. But I don't wish to confuse you by using the word choice there. Yes, there are choices, but also the choices that you have available to you are relevant to the theme that you are connected to, the reason you are who you are, what you are. The unique reflection that you are has certain themes built into it. That's what makes it a unique reflection. And therefore the free will choices that you have as a personality and the choices you make for what to experience and when are all going to be based primarily on those themes. There's still a wide range of choice, but they will all be within a certain thematic representation that stretches all the way up to all that is, you being a unique reflection of it, experiencing these particular things in the particular way that you do. It's not that you're forced to come back. You don't necessarily have to. And remember that reincarnation is an illusion. All things exist simultaneously. But you may make the choice to say, well, I didn't feel like I finished that particular theme, therefore I will now create another experience that from the linear reality will be perceived as a reincarnation in order to continue to finish that theme, to wrap it up, because I made an agreement with myself to do so. And therefore you may make that choice, but ultimately speaking, no, you don't have to, at least not right away. You can choose to explore the same theme, other levels, other dimensions, other ways, other civilizations. You may ultimately come back to it, but in some way, shape, or form, whatever agreements you make are representative of the theme that you are, and you will complete those themes, but you still have a wide range of availability and free will as to exactly how to complete those themes. It doesn't have to be forced upon you to complete it within an incarnational context, unless there's something about that particular theme that can only be completed in a physical experience. But again, that's something that you will actually wish to do, because you will wish to fulfill the agreement that you made to complete that theme in order to grow in a particular way.
I'm really glad that Bashar went through that and explained that, because I've often asked myself and wondered, are you being forced to reincarnate? I mean, it's such a cool and interesting question. Like, do you just come back? Because some people tell stories of like whenever they die and then they come back into life. When they die, they're in this beautiful place and they're like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave. I don't want to go. And they're like, nah, you're going back, man. And before they die, they're like, oh, please let me come back. And then whenever they do die, they're like, oh, dang, why? Like, I don't want to go anywhere. So it's just an interesting thing to see that and to hear him talk about it. You know, to just finally explain that, no, you always choose it, because you do always choose it. But at the same time, I do believe there's a higher purpose and a relevant purpose, as he said, to what's going on. So it's just very cool. I love Bashar. I love his content. I love Daryl and what he does.
Yeah, as always, Bashar is coming with the knowledge, coming with the truth, pure knowledge. And the way I see it is that nothing is forced, but your soul will just feel that urge to go and complete what you need to complete. Kind of like, I guess, if you like signed up for the army and you feel ready to go, and then like maybe the very day where you're about to go and leave all your family, you might get a little emotional, like, wait, do I want to do this? But you signed up already, so you got to go do your duty. So that urge might come back like, oh my gosh, this is going to be another big challenge I'm about to take on. Yeah. But it's all for good things. So it sounds like the Oversoul is that the kind of explanation that why you can kind of live simultaneous lives. Well, of course, because all time is now. But sometimes people say that they're really believing, they feel they're living multiple lives at once. And a lot of people are. So it looks like the Oversoul, from my understanding, is just the one Oversoul living these different, personalities, different lives. And then the higher mind is kind of like your connection, your direct connection to the spirit world within that individual life, individual personality. Is that the way you see it? Yeah,
that's kind of how I see it. The Oversoul is, has different souls attached to it. Like there's different people that have one Oversoul. It gets really complicated when you really get into it. We got to do a full video on just Oversouls, but basically you have your soul, your individual soul, then you have an Oversoul that has other souls, including yours, into it. And then I believe there's an even bigger soul. And then there's all that is, which is everything and,
right,
everybody together. So it gets convoluted. That's why, Dolores Cannon named the book The Convoluted Universe, where she gets into a lot of stuff like this. So just thank you guys for watching the video. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, and we'll see you in the next one.